What's up, y'all? I'm trying to let y'all groove with me tonight as we get started. Trying to set the atmosphere. That's what we say at church. Trying to set the atmosphere. All right. It's good to be here. I'm Angelique. As you know, I'm not going to start right away. I'm going to let a few more of you join the podcast. But I'm just going to get started in just a little bit. I'm excited about tonight's topic. It's one that needs to be covered. It's one that needs to be discussed. Everything I talk about needs to be discussed because this domestic violence thing is ridiculous. But this particular one is an important topic. It's about the flags, the infamous red, yellow, and green flags, specifically those yellow and red flags that we all encounter in a relationship. And so that's the topic. Recognize the signs, red, yellow, and green flags in relationships. Woo! Because they do exist. So if you haven't already, share this podcast because I'm getting ready to get started. I have a lot of content. This is meant to be interactive. So don't y'all leave me talking to myself. As a matter of fact, let's get this thing started right now. Whether you're logged in from YouTube or one of my Facebook channels, please, if you could, just say hello. Send me a shout out. Let me know you are in the house because I'm getting ready to get started. I feel like I'm on the radio. I feel like I'm on the radio right now. Let me know if you are in the house. Got my music playing in the background. All right, seriously, I'm going to get started in about 2 or 3 minutes because I've got to cover this topic in depth, and it's going to be interactive. It's going to be interactive. Y'all see that? Can y'all see these words on here? It's going to be interactive. We got all 3 colors, right? The red, the yellow, and the green. It's a real thing. Oh my God, it's Kendra. Ah! Kendra, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever. Well, I see you on Facebook all the time. You know what I'm trying to say. I haven't seen you in person in forever. Oh, great. It really is good to see you, my love. You know, Moo, miss you to pieces. Miss you to pieces. So I hope you're doing great. I hope life is good. I hope you are excelling because you always wanted to. So, all right, y'all. It's 7:05. If you haven't shared this podcast, get to it. Get to it. Seriously, get to it. Meaning, we are all a part of Facebook groups. We all have friends on Facebook. That's what Facebook is for. So if you haven't yet, tag someone in so that their name, so it tags them in this post and they can watch, or literally say, I'm going to share this to a Facebook group I'm a part of, because I know some of the ladies, even some of the men, need to hear this message. So let's get started. Oh, look at that. Good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. All right, y'all. You know me. I prepare. I get ready. I got notes. I got things I have to say. Welcome to every single one of you. This is a very special night. I'm going to go ahead and stop the music because I don't want y'all to miss a thing. Welcome to every one of you. Hello, as I call you, my courageous queens and my courageous kings, because it takes courage to even participate in this conversation. I have to be honest. It takes courage to even be here, to even to investigate yourself, to think about what you're in, what relationship, what is my relationship? What have I been seeing? Good, bad, and different. And can I tell myself the truth about what I'm in? So, hello to all my courageous queens, my courageous kings. Welcome to episode number 35. I depend on you to spread this word. So, if you haven't shared this post just yet, share it to the people who love you, who trust you, who know you wouldn't send them just anything. This podcast ain't just anything. It is silent no more. My weekly domestic violence awareness podcast. I am Angelique. I am a survivor of domestic violence. Yep, been through it, been there, done that. Hate to say it, but it's true. But let me tell you what I also am. I am an advocate of freedom and truth. And that's why I speak every week. I am also the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. I created Ladder Masters for three important reasons. They will never change. No, Ladder Masters isn't only about domestic violence, but on this podcast, it's about domestic violence. So when I speak to you, I'm speaking because I want to bring awareness to this crazy thing that exists everywhere, yet nobody's talking about it. That's me. That's why I'm here. That's why Angelique speaks. Number two is to break down facades because there's a lot of lies, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of myths. I'm here to break all that down. And number three is to build conquerors. At the end of the day, my goal is to make you, help you become the best version of you, the most powerful and impactful version of you. That's what I'm doing for myself. That's what I'm trying to do for you. So let's keep going. You know, I only speak for those three reasons. Call me out if you ever hear me speaking for anything else. But I'm here to tell you what's true and to get you to those three places. So before I begin, I'm going to say a quick prayer. As you know, I always do. That's important to me. That's important that I recognize the God who I serve and that I know He has commissioned me. I am on a mission. This is a part of a ministry that He has poured into me or pushed through me out to the world. So, Father, I come before you thanking you for yet another weekend. Here I am on Sunday, 7 o'clock, with the people who are watching right now. This is a great purpose, a great calling. And trust me, you know, like I know, it's not easy. It's not easy to do this and to speak these words, but man, when you give it to me, God, the way you do, it makes it that much more easy. So I thank you for the words you put in me, the courage you have put in me to present these words and speak these truths out to the public with no shame, no worry, no concern. But just because I want to empower those who are victims and survivors of domestic violence. And I also want to empower those who have not ever been through it or want to understand it. Because truth is, the statistics say, they really do say that 1 in 4 women are going to experience this in their lifetime, 25% of the population. So, Father, I thank you. I thank you for giving me this strength, the power of my voice, the conviction of this testimony that I have. And I thank you and I pray for every victim and survivor, God, that they will have the strength and courage to get out and to stay out. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Here we go. You ain't got to be a Christian to watch this show. Whoever God you pray to, whatever God that is you pray to, trust me, I'm sure He does not want you abused. He or she, if you believe in female gods, he does not, she does not want you to be abused. So let me just keep going. I told you tonight's episode, number 35, recognize the signs, the red, the yellow, the green flags in relationships. They do exist. Yes, they do. All right. I want to give a special shout out real quick to Mecklenburg County. Now, I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I now live in Fort Mill, South Carolina. But when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's when this whole thing of domestic violence played out in my life. Devastated, broken, a mess. I sought out resources to help me understand what in the world I had just been through. So Charlotte is in Mecklenburg County. Mecklenburg County has an organization called Mecklenburg County Community Support Services. There is also an organization called Safe Alliance, which provides shelters for domestic violence victims and survivors and all kinds of resources. Those two organizations, Mecklenburg CSS, Safe Alliance, came together and put together some trainings and programs for people like me who wanted to step in and understand and then spread this word to other people. Well, it was through one of the trainings on teen dating violence that I have certification in as well. It was through that training that I learned about these red and yellow and green flags. You know, people talk about them, right? They're like, oh, that's a red flag. But you know what? We never really knew what the flags were. I can tell you right now. Tell you, I grew up in Philly, 800 block of Price Street. Anybody tell me about no flags in any particular way that I would understand them and be able to apply them. So I'm going to tell you about the red, the yellow, and the green flags because I want you to know. I want to do what I said. Number one, bring awareness. We've got to have an understanding. If we don't even know, we're not even in the game. We have no clue how to protect ourselves when these people come to us professing their love, but what they're actually do is working you towards an unhealthy relationship and then towards abuse. So let me be the one to shed the light. Ain't nobody going to tell you, let me tell you. So this episode is particularly inspired by the training that I was in, led by Alex Payun, who is a part of Mecklenburg Community Support Services. He's the one that took us through that teen dating violence training, where I really learned about the red, yellow, and green flag. So shout out to Mecklenburg County CSS. Shout out to Safe Alliance. My God, you do such great things. And shout out to Alex, who actually taught me this. So today's episode, again, if you haven't shared it, because I'm going now, y'all. I'm going in, I'm digging in, it's on and popping. Share it, tag somebody. So today's episode is called Recognize the Signs, Green, Yellow, and Red Flags in Relationships. Now, I want to be clear. We kind of all know what green flags are. I'm going to cover those. We kind of know what they are. But my focus, I'm going to really dig in deep on these yellow and these red flags, the ones that we miss, overlook, don't want to see. Whatever the situation is, I'm going to dig into them. And this is going to be interactive. So don't leave me hanging. Y'all better not leave me hanging. All right? Don't leave me hanging. All right. So I'm going to be looking for you to join in and be interactive. So I'll look for your comments, your reactions, your input, all of that. Put it in the chat. And you know what? If you think about it, everything you type in, someone gets to see later when they go back and read this. And I'm telling you, reading someone else's responses and reactions is so important and so impactful. So stay with me. Let me do my intro, okay? So as we all progress in relationships, we start to think this relationship might be like he kind of cute. This might work, or she's awesome. This might be good. We think that it may have potential. A lot of us do. But my question for you is: this person is always coming on here writing in. I don't know what that is. I see a comment, but I'm not going to show it because it's the same person from YouTube every week. So I'm going to ignore that. The question is I have for you is how do you know? No, I'm asking you for real, because I told you this is interactive. How do you know if you are in a good or healthy relationship? How do you know? I'm asking you. How do you know? Let me know. Put in the comments. So my question is, how do you know if you should continue? Like you're talking to someone and you're interested and they seem interested, but how do you tell if you should continue, especially if some issues come up? How do you know? How do you know? All right. What should you look for in another person? When we say, oh, I'm interested and I want to be in a relationship or I want to be married, do you even know? what you should look for? Or maybe the better question is, do you even know what to look out for? Meaning, be careful, watch out for that. Do you even know? So my big question is, how do you know if something you've seen is just a, let's call it personality quirk? Let's call it that. How do you know if something is a personality quirk or if it's actually a real concern? Do you know? Can you tell? Send me some messages. So, what I want to say to you is it's really important for each of us, I'm including me in this, for each of us to pay attention to, and to recognize the things that may be that real concern that I mentioned a second ago. Because when you don't pay attention, when you don't recognize, then you can certainly find yourself like I did, like I did, in an abusive relationship. And when I tell you, it is no joke, it is nothing to just sneeze at when it comes down to what it takes to break free, to escape from that, to jump from that. It's no joke. Why am I saying jump? Well, let me illustrate what I'm talking about. Because in these relationships, we think everything's going great, right? This seems nice, and something happens that make you go, I don't like that too much. Hmm. Trying to process it, trying to figure out what to do with it. And sometimes we ignore it. But listen to me, because you got to get this idea of jumping in your mind. Listen to this story. Y'all know the story of the boiling frog. If you don't, you're about to hear it right now. You're about to hear the Angelique version of the boiling frog story. So if you put a frog, this alive and well frog, if you put a boiling frog into water, I mean, suddenly put that thing into really hot, scalding hot water, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to jump out. It's going to. That's the end. That's the red flag. That's the abuse, right? So folks don't come in just abusing right away. Back to the frog. But if you put the boiling and put the frog into cool water, healthy relationship, green flags, right? If you put them into cool water, but then slowly turn up the heat, thus you're slowly bringing it to a boil over time, go from green to yellowish to yellow to slightly pink. If you bring it to a boil over time, then you, the frog won't even notice the change as the temperature rises. Not noticing it. Why? Because the frog, you, are adjusting to the changes in temperature, to the argument, to the drama, to the problems. Are you with me? Stay with me. Stay with me. You're adjusting because your body keeps adjusting to these small, less noticeable changes, these awkward situations. He's mad about what? I don't get that. I'm confused. Okay, he says sorry, maybe it's nothing. Are y'all staying with me? Talk to me. Because I'm saying right now, let's not be the frog that stays to the end when you boil to death. I hate being so direct, but if somebody don't tell it like a TI is, like my mom used to say, if somebody doesn't tell it like a TI is, let it like it is, you will miss it. You will be that frog that's boiling slowly over time, that's getting into these awkward situations of unhealthy behaviors that then turn to abusive, and you won't even realize that it's really happening to you because it was never defined for you, and it will be too late to jump. Listen, I am giving you the keys to the kingdom right now. I am helping you understand what you need to know because I didn't know. I didn't understand it like this. Nobody gave it to me like this. So I'm going to give it to you just like this. You need to hear it. So remember these things in relationships, y'all. Most of the time, I'm going to say most of the time, 99.99999% of the time, these dudes, these women who are abusive even, they don't come in throwing blows and calling you out your name. Because if they did that, you jump, right? Right out the water, you jump. So they got to take their time with you. But I want you to pay attention when it's going from cool to warm to uncomfortable and to hot. Please let me be your thermometer today. Let me be your thermometer today. Are you in that refreshing cool water? Green flags, healthy behaviors. Love them. They're great in a relationship. Or are you in that uncomfortably warm water? Those unhealthy behaviors? Are you seeing those yellow flags? Or are we talking scolding hot water in an abusive relationship, abusive behaviors? Please, let me be your thermometer today. Now, I'm going to make two requests, and only two from you tonight. Only two. Okay, you got to write them down, you got to commit them to memory. Only two. My request number one, participate. Are you with me? Request number one is to participate because I need you, right? There are going to be moments when I literally ask questions of you. I'm asking you a question and I'm looking for a response. That's all. So, like a straight up answer in the chat. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't just think it. I want you to share. Put an answer in the chat. So, please just join in. I mean, that's an easy ask, right? Like, right? That's an easy one. All right. Request number two, tell yourself the truth. Let me put this in here. So y'all can't say that I did not ask. Request number one. What did I say? Participate. Can I type? Participate. That's what it's supposed to say. That was supposed to be a one, y'all. Request number one. I hit the what's the name button. That's the number one. Request number one is participate. Request number two is tell yourself the truth. Are you listening? Tell yourself the truth. Let me say it again. Tell yourself the truth. Yes, this is a direct request because mm, 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 mm. I've learned that not telling yourself the truth is a large part of how these abusers succeed in turning a relationship from healthy to abusive. You not being totally honest with you about what's happening, that's a large part of how these abusive relationships come to be. So we see something that we don't like because listen, because we've already decided somewhere back then in the beginning that we like this guy and that he's done so many of the things that we really like and he's been nice and he's been this and he's been that. We have a hard time admitting to the fact that we're seeing something different and that they are doing something now that is really wrong. That's what we have to do. Tell yourself the truth. Request number one, participate. Thank you, Norma, for popping in. Request number two, tell yourself the truth during this podcast. Okay, let's talk about it. Now I'm going in. Get ready, y'all. I'm going in. Defining the flags. Now, as you go through the dating process, flags are going to appear. They are. These flags are what's going to help you define, categorize, and maybe even put a rating, like some kind of a rating to the issues that are appearing in the relationship. Okay. All right. The ones that come up, you should be able to say, that was cool. That wasn't. So this is important because let me say this, y'all. You cannot overlook the things that should make you say, hold up, wait a minute, I'm not good with that. And you should be able to say, I'm not good with that. Even if it's only a yellow, which is unhealthy. You should be able to say, I'm not good with that. And there are also things that are abusive, really bad, that should be flat out deal breakers. Period. I'm never going to be okay with that. Time out. I'm out. Time out. Okay, so like traffic signals, y'all know traffic signals, we all drive, right? We all got a whip somewhere in our garage, in the carport, in the parking lot, wherever it is. Just like traffic signals, each of these flags, red, yellow, green, they should help you know how to proceed in the relationship. They should help you decide, do I even want to date him? Do I want to date her? Let me think about that. They should help you determine if the relationship is healthy or unhealthy. These flags should also help you see what might make the relationship work versus what might make it difficult to even proceed any further in that relationship. You have got to pay attention. Oh, yes, these red flags. I'm going to use these tonight, y'all. I hope it's showing the right way for y'all. That word in there is abusive. Hope you see the word the right way. This one has the word unhealthy, right? And this one, the green flag, has the word healthy. We like those. Those are the best ones. All right, so here's some important points. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. A flag. Flags or abuse or these kinds of things I'm talking about, they're not just single events. You have to pay attention to them over time. So flags are not single events, they are patterns of behavior. Can I make that point? Flags are patterns of behavior. They are patterns. All right, y'all got to stick with me on that. So, here we go. You should be aware of, you should watch out for these patterns. So, let me give you, for instance, let's say you go on a date, right? First date, and you have a wonderful time, right? Meaning it was really nice, that you had a great time, you laughed, the food was good, I don't know, whatever, I'm making it all up. But that was a single instance. That was a night, a single date. It is not a pattern. You cannot take from that one situation, this person is awesome, 100%, no doubt, they're the best man or best woman ever in the world I've ever dated. Don't even go there. What you need to do is see a pattern. And the only way to see a pattern is to give it time. Are you with me? It takes time. Remember, the one thing that abusers can't stand, Norma, I know you know, some of y'all over here, I know y'all know, abusers can't stand time. You know why? Because they can only hold up the facade for so long, y'all. It's a fact. They can only front, as we call it in Philly. You can only front for so long. They can only fake it for so long. Eventually, that mess, that darkness, that filth, that demonic crap that's in them is going to come out. So your job is to make them wait. Don't be so quick to go having a baby, living together, getting married. Don't be so quick to say, I love you. Slow them down. Because if you slow them down and you wait them out, you will have time to find out if any of these things exist. I dropped my yellow flags. I got to get time to find out if any of these things exist. You need the time. So let's talk about each flag. As I mentioned, just like traffic signals, Kendra said amen. Amen, y'all. Norma said amen. Everybody saying amen. You need time, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all about me. Listen, I don't sugarcoat. I know how I got where I got to, unfortunately. But fortunately, I know and I'm telling y'all. So listen, just like traffic signals, right? Each one of these flags is meant to help you know how to proceed, or even if you should proceed at all in a relationship. All right. So we all know green flags. Those that green in a traffic signal means what? It means go. Green means go. So when it comes down to green flags, the idea here is that you can begin. So we're talking about healthy, right? Healthy. I like healthy. The idea here is that you can begin or continue in a relationship, right? Hey, Cassandra. When some of y'all join, it just brings joy to me, right? It is so good to see y'all on here. So it is blessing to you, my sister. Blessings to you. All right. So we all know that green means go, right? So green flags means, hey, it's okay for me. This feels okay for me to begin or to continue in this relationship, meaning you're comfortable around the person. So let me give you some examples, okay? Let's make it less theoretical and more practical. You are comfortable being around the person, right? Whatever about them makes you comfortable. You have some similar goals, you have some similar interests. That is important. It's so funny that we don't think about that. Like, oh, but he's into this and I'm into that. But the truth is, a green flag, a healthy relationship is that you have some similar, they don't have to all be similar, but you have some similar interests. You think about the way they handle situations, even difficult ones. And the way that that person handles difficult situations seems to be they're level headed, right? They are in harmony with the gospel truth, even if you're a Christian or whatever religion you are. Oh, hey, Cassandra, thank you. Oh my gosh. So just think about those things. When a situation arises and it's difficult, how do they handle it? You should know that, but you won't know for real until you give it time to see the pattern over time. Back to what I said again. Don't think of a flag as a single event. You have to think of a flag as a pattern because you need to know what's really good with this person. Y'all sticking with me. I'm just trying to prepare you for the real world, as they say. I'm trying to prepare you for the real world. The other person, what's another green thing? A healthy thing. The other person has a desire to do what's right, to be better, to improve, to put you first, to ensure that you are happy. Listen to this one, to ensure that you are at peace. Are you listening to me? Because if I jump you all the way to the other end of abuse, there is no peace. None. Trust me, I know. There's no peace. So it's a healthy thing, a good thing. If you have someone who desires to make sure you are happy and that you are at peace and that they treat you fairly. I'm just telling you what I know. So let's talk about what green flags sound like, look like. Let's give some straight up examples, okay? In a relationship, now stay with me, y'all, because I want you to really listen to what it should look like. I'm not going to give you every example because there's too many to give you, but just listen. Simple things like this. Green flag. You have the option of privacy. Well, that doesn't that seem like an obvious thing? Wait till I get to the other side of this story. You have the option of privacy. For example, your partner doesn't trip out. They're fine. If you're in the room with them, your phone rings and you get up and you take a call, you say, I'll be right back. You take a call in another room. They're okay that you take a call in private. Trust me, I know what it's like when your partner is making a big deal of you. How dare you step away? I want to hear every word you are saying. I want to know who you're talking to. That's the red flag. That's the abuse. That's unhealthy. But it's a green flag. They don't care. You have the option of privacy. Another one, number two, you and your partner enjoy activities apart from each other. It doesn't mean you don't do things together. It simply means it's okay. Y'all don't have to be together every waking moment. He knows what you're doing. You know what he's doing. That's not necessary. You have the option, and everybody's okay with doing things separately. That's healthy. That's healthy. Number three, you speak your mind, right? Let's say you have an issue, you have a concern. You speak your mind, you share your opinions without fearing their reaction. Did you hear the final part? You speak your opinions, you speak your mind without literally having fear of their reaction. Am I talking to somebody? You hear what I'm trying to tell you? This is what healthy looks like. You don't fear them. Your partner abides by your boundaries, whether that's emotional, sexual, financial, whatever it is, they abide by your boundaries. All right. So let's jump to the yellow flags. I think you got me on the green flags. Let's jump to yellow. I'm gonna stay on this one for a while, so I'm gonna really dig into this one because these are the ones, these are the signs, these are the flags that most of us miss, and we end up at the red because we didn't catch it early enough at the yellow. That's why we end up there. We gotta catch it at the yellow when it's unhealthy. Because when you get abusive, do you have any idea how hard it is? Some of you know, like I do, how hard it is to extract yourself when it's gotten too abusive. Let me get you at the unhealthy so you recognize it then. Let me see what this comment is. Yes, for green flags. Let's keep them at green flags. All right. Okay. Yes, for green flags. We're going to jump to the yellow. Yellow flags mean what they mean when you're in traffic. Come on, y'all. Stay with me. We all drive cars. When you see a yellow, when you see that light turn yellow, what are you supposed to do? Tell me. I'm listening. I'm watching the comments. What are you supposed to do when you see the light turn yellow? Now, if you were born and feeling like me, that means speed up. We see a yellow, that don't no way, shape, or form mean slow down. In Philly, we drive fast, baby. We're like, oh, that's yellow. That definitely means go faster. So, but okay, that's the thing. But thank you, Kendra. Yellow means slow down. Yellow flags also mean slow down. You know what they mean? They mean slow down and proceed with caution. And when I say proceed, I mean and only with caution. If you decide to proceed, only do it with extreme caution. All right, stay with me because the range for yellow flags it can be broad. I'm going to say some things to y'all. Listen to me, all right? Yellow means slow down. Yellow means slow down. Yellow means slow down and proceed with caution. Why? Because one, there are clear, strong differences in personality, in interests, and in preferences. Slow down. It means slow down. Number two, the communication. Y'all struggling. There's communication struggles. There's regular or frequent arguments. They talk over you. Slow down. Proceed only with caution. I am telling you, because the things I listen, y'all, I went through them. That's why I can list them. They love to talk about themselves. God, when I tell you what I know, I'm telling you because I know and I lived it. They love to talk about themselves, boast about themselves. Why does that matter? This is why it matters because that means they're trying to dominate the conversations. Listen to me, y'all. That means they are self interested, self centered, and narcissistic. Listen to me when I tell you. I missed that one. God, that was. If, mm, if someone had really explained to me yellow flags and how people who love to talk about themselves is a yellow flag, and then said, let me explain why. The people who boast about themselves are people who also dominate conversations. When they dominate the conversations, that means they're self centered, self interested, and narcissistic. Are you with me? I am telling you what I know. And let me tell y'all something real quick about Kendra, who's on here. Let me just stop for 1 second and tell y'all about Kendra because, yeah, Kendra in my situation played a huge part. Let me just shout you out, baby, because I know I don't talk to you that much. We haven't spent a lot of time together lately, but I want you to know from me to you how grateful I am for you because in the thick of it, stepped up, helped me, help my baby, did things and fulfill requests for me that require her to be selfless and sacrifice for us. So when I tell you, I don't want you to ignore the yellow flags because the yellow flags turn to the red. I don't want you to have to find a Kendra or a Sarita or a Tanara or a Rashida or all these people who had to help me or Veronica or oh my God, I can run the list down. My line sisters. I don't want you to have to find those people to help you recover from the abuse. Kendra, help me recover from the abusive situation and help care for my daughter. When I tell you to pay attention and tell yourself the truth when you see the yellow flags, it's because I don't want you to get to the red. I don't want you to need a Kendra for that kind of craziness and to help you fight through that mess. Kendra, my heart to yours. If I never thanked you, I want you to know I thank you for every single thing you did for us. And I love you for that. I appreciate you. Okay. Okay. All right. I had to say that because, whew, okay. Yes, baby. You. So I said it. Slow down. Proceed with caution. They love to talk about themselves, boast about themselves, which means they're self centered. They are self interested. They are narcissistic. That's why they do what they do. All right. Now, all right. Intense reactions. This was one I saw a lot. I'm on yellow flags, y'all. This one actually could be a red flag, if you ask me. It could be in the red category. Intense reactions that are not appropriate. They are not even slightly appropriate for the circumstances. Okay? Intense. Like simple things happen. Something gets broken, it's cracked, something gets lost, and you would think you burned this house down. Okay? You would think, oh, don't even get me started. I've been through it, okay? All right. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Kendra. I just want you to know that. I want you to know. All right. So trying to control you, meaning who you hang out with. Listen, y'all, you got to catch these early. You see this hair? You see it now? Oh, how messy and beautiful it is. Oh, I love it. Try to control everything from my hair to my toes. Do you hear me? This was a big part of it. This is why I cut my hair as a sign of my freedom that you will never have control over me again. No one will control me ever again. So when they're trying to control you, who you hang out with, demanding to know where you are, get this one. Get this one. Not only where you are, what time you arrived, to what time you leave. Why is that? Because they want to track you. Don't be confused. This isn't about safety. This isn't about concern, genuine concern for you. When you are in these kind of situations with these kind of people, and it's like, no, 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 you will tell me what time you got there and what time you leave. So basically, they can track how long you've been gone, how long it takes you to get home. Did you happen to make a stop somewhere? Where you go? Who you see? And it leads to all kinds of craziness. Y'all stay with me. I'm telling you what I know. Thank you, Cassandra. She's taking us back one. Reactions that are just over the top to what the situation is. It is called overreacting. It is a yellow flag and could easily slide to red. Next one, number 6, constantly demanding your attention. Phone calls, unannounced visits, just popping up. Or no, always wanting to be in your space, always wanting to crowd you and expecting you to do the same. That is unhealthy. Your world should never revolve around just one person, and no one should force you to be that way. Number 7, struggles with controlling or managing their money. You know, I never caught this one. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to repeat that one. It's a yellow flag if a person is struggling with controlling and managing their money. It's a yellow flag for many reasons. One, because you ain't, how we say it, they say in the Midwest and in the South, you ain't finna mess up my money. Because I'm from the Northeast, we don't say finna. Down here, they say finna. You ain't finna mess up my money. That's the first thing. But the second thing is a person who does not have control over their finances, I bet you, if you dig a little deeper, because that's what happened to me, had I known, I would have dug a little deeper. There was so much other financial mess in the background that I had no clue before I got married. I had no clue of those things before I got married. And then the financial abuse that I endured after getting married. And I caught this yellow flag of struggling with controlling and managing money, and I caught that yellow flag. God. Number 8, moving the relationship along too quickly. What you say, Angelique? Did you just say moving the relationship along? But if I love him, and if it's just that good, and if the couple on the phone every night from 10 o'clock to 2 in the morning, and I think we should just go ahead and do this, and it's just that great. He's just that amazing. And hey, let me ask you something. I'm not saying that it's never possible that a relationship could be so special and amazing and so sweet from the beginning. I'm not saying that. But let me tell you something. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And if you ever heard the phrase, all that glitters, y'all can finish it. All that glitters ain't gold. Ain't. So let me keep going. Yellow flag. I remember in 2010, I've been working for the same company for like 19 years. Okay. It's been 19 years. February 3rd, be 19 years. And I remember in 2010, I had gotten a promotion to this job I really, really wanted, and it was an important promotion. It's like one of those big promotions. If you work for my company, you know what it means to go to become a level 4 after being level 5. You know what it means. You work for the company. So I got a promotion, and during that time, we were still dating, right? So now I'm taking y'all back. We were still dating at that time. And I remember I get this new job. It's a big job, y'all, right? But he kept calling me at my desk. He kept calling my desk, the new number. He was calling my cell phone, everything, trying to reach me. Now, I'm busy. I got a new job. I got to learn, and the expectation is quite high for me to succeed. Black woman and truck people, right? Okay. I didn't return his phone call until the afternoon. So I saw the calls coming in, but I was busy. So I didn't return his call until the afternoon. Let's call it. Okay. Let me tell you what he said. He said, now I want y'all to listen to these words. He said, you can't tell me that you didn't have 2 minutes to check on the man you say you love. I'm going to let that one sit with you just for a second. Now, I'm going to repeat it. Let me repeat it. You can't tell me. He said he was frustrated too. You can't tell me you didn't have 2 minutes to check on the man that you say you love. Did you catch that? You see how he mixed in the that you say you love to add a level of guilt to me that I've done something wrong by focusing on my job during the freaking work hours, right? Okay. So if I had had my head on straight that day, let me tell you something. If I had my head on straight that day, let me tell you what I would have said. Let me tell you what the 800 block of Price Street 40 would have said if I had my head on straight that day. I would have said something like, I'm sorry. What are you, 5 years old? What are you, 5 years old? I will call you after work. Like, you can't wait until I get off. Oh my gosh. Yes, all that glitters ain't gold. So when you get that phone call and it sounds like you can't tell me you ain't got 2 minutes to check on the man that you say you say you love, as in he's questioning, he's trying to create a situation where I question myself about how I display my love for him. So if he gets me to question myself, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to call him. I'm going to check in. I'm going to make sure. Are y'all staying with me? Because I'm keeping it extra uber super real. Because this is how the red flags slip in and turn to red. The yellow flags slip in and turn to red because we don't catch the little subtleties. Next thing I know, what am I doing? I'm checking in because I got to show him, no, I do love you, or I think I got to show him. Are y'all with me? Listen, with that line that I told y'all about moving the relationship along too quickly, I'm gonna give y'all a timeline. I'm telling you my truth. I'm telling you what happened to me, right? I'm telling y'all what happened to me. I met him in February 2010, exactly on February 3rd of 2010. I remember because that's my work anniversary. That's the day I met him. He moved into my home in November 2010. Wait, no, you didn't hear me wrong. I met him in February 2010. He moved into my home November of 2010. You can count the months. You are pretty smart. Again, moving the relationship along too quickly. We were engaged May of 2011. Are you keeping track of the timeline? We had our first wedding ceremony in October of 2011. Yeah, we had two ceremonies. We had our first one October 2011. We had our second one, the big party thing that everybody attended to. It was amazing, phenomenal, in June of 2012. February 2010, November 2010, October 2011, June 2012, pregnant July 2012. Lots of arguing, lots of verbal, financial abuse. First time he hit me, about early 2015. My daughter was just about 2 years old, not quite. Check the timeline. Yellow flags. They expect you to always call. They expect you to. Oh, wait. Norma just put something in here. Wait a minute. Hey, Norma, which one of those was the red flag? Was that the timeline? I'm assuming you're referring to the timeline I just read to you. Because when I think about it, yeah, they expect you to always call. They expect you to always call them when you get to where you're going, when you leave. And I mentioned this one, pay attention. No, because you know what? At first, it may seem like it's a concern for your safety. This is the stuff that we miss. We get manipulated by what they say. We get confused about truth of the circumstances, y'all. Pay attention. Be honest. Be truthful with yourself. They make decisions without you even knowing about things that you should be involved in. These are all yellow flags. Oh, but I just thought it would be okay if I did that. Excuses. I'm not listening. I'm gonna stay right here. This next yellow flag that I'm gonna bring up. This was important because it's going to get you to a place that the timeline. I thought so. All yellow flags way too fast. I mean red flags way too fast. There is a yellow flag that I'm going to now spend some time on. I appreciate y'all too because y'all are doing great on the comments. This is awesome. There is one yellow flag that I want to spend some time on. Okay, listen up. If you haven't been listening all night, listen for sure right now. The feeling that you are walking on eggshells? Somebody type that in the comments. This yellow flag is the feeling that you are walking on eggshells. This is an important one, okay? Because I was walking on eggshells and I didn't define it as that. I didn't define it. I thought maybe I had actually done something to offend him. I had actually done something wrong. Not the case at all. Let me say this, okay? Um, when you are walking on eggshells with someone who claims to love you and that you think you love, no dice. It's no good, y'all. It's no good. It's no good. Walking on eggshells is a yellow flag. Thank you, Cassandra. Listen, y'all. What does walking on eggshells mean? People say it all the time. Now, before I start into this segment, I'm going to give some credit to the person that I got these words from. Her words were so good that I'm literally going to deliver her words, but just an Angelique speak, okay? The way I speak. Her name is Stephanie Kirby. She's a writer. She gave this perfect explanation. Stay with me, y'all, because here we go. She says this. Think for a minute if you were to actually walk on eggshells. Picture yourself, close your eyes, think about eggshells on the floor, and I want you to think for a minute of you actually that you were walking on eggshells. The chances are that you wouldn't just be stomping around. Like you're not going to do that, right? Well, unless you're like a kid. Kids do silly stuff like that. But you're not going to be stomping around. Instead, what would you do? You would tread lightly. You would do that. You would you would oh, exactly. You would walk on your tippy toes, right? You would try not to break the eggshells, or at least you would try not to hurt your feet by stepping on them. Y'all are on it tonight. Oh my God. Now, put this into the perspective in a relationship. How about put it in perspective in your relationship? Let's make it personal. Put it in perspective in your relationship. If you are walking around on eggshells, then with your significant other, let me tell you what it means. It means that you have to tread lightly. It may be that you never know what type of mood they're going to be in. You're trying to figure out, is he calm right now? Is he upset right now? Oh, maybe he's okay today. That is walking on eggshells. That's walking on eggshells, y'all. It means you're always tiptoeing around to try to find out what's going on. And, you know, listen, don't play with me. Who am I talking to? Listen, y'all. Or walking on hot bricks. There you go. Who am I talking to, y'all? Because I'm talking to somebody out there right now. You're waiting to see what their reaction is before you even decide something, right? Before you decide on what you're going to do. Listen, you're waiting to see what their reaction is before you even decide what you're going to do or how you're even going to behave. It is a terrible place to be in. I have been in that situation. It just seems like everything sets them off. Everything upsets them, everything bothers them, and that they can go into like an emotional tangent, for lack of a better word, an emotional tangent that is completely out of proportion and out of context. Y'all know what I'm talking about here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The hot bricks is an interesting one, Cassandra. Walking on eggshells means you find yourself always wary or overly calculating, always overly calculating when you are with them. Let me make sure I sit up right, or I don't say the wrong thing, or is that straightened up over there? Okay, that I did straighten that up. Or is that out of place? I'm telling y'all, I've been here. I know what that's like. You are careful what you say, you're careful what you do so that they don't overreact or get verbally, physically, emotionally abusive. I know for a fact that I'm talking to one of y'all. I'm talking to somebody tonight. It is the feeling of dread or hesitation to interact with someone in your life. When you have that feeling, that's walking on eggshells. And I want you to know it because I want you to remember my point number two. I only made two requests tonight. What was my second request? What was my second request? Who remembers what my request? I'll put it in here. My request number two, if I could type it properly because I messed it up the last time. What was request number two? Tell yourself what? It was tell yourself the truth. That was my request number two. I just put it in there. If you didn't remember, tell yourself the truth. If you are walking on eggshells, you have got to admit it. It's 7:55, so let me keep going. The meaning of each flag, we're on to red flags. Here we go. Red flags. Red flags mean full stop. Thank you, Cassandra. Request number 2 was tell yourself the truth. Red flags mean full stop. Listen, y'all, not kind of stop, not like roll on the brakes. You know how we do that? We roll on the brakes and through a stop sign and we keep rolling straight through. We don't actually stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. In Philly, we do that. We did that all the time. Roll through a stop sign. You kind of almost, but never actually come stop, and you keep going. I'm telling you that a red flag means full stop. Stop. Do not proceed. Not with caution, not with nothing. It means stop. Because if you don't, I promise you, you will end up where you don't want to be. And if you got kids, where you don't want them to be. What does that look like? What's a red flag? Well, thanks for asking. Let me tell you. Belittling you, mocking you, ridiculing you, which simply means putting you down. Let me say this one. Let me say this one. Violent behavior of any kind. I put the word any in there for a reason because we get confused. But he didn't punch me, he punched the wall. Did you hear me? I said violent behavior of any kind. Well, he didn't break my nose, he broke the TV. I don't care. What did I say? I said violent behavior of any kind because whether or not he actually punched you or punched the wall, whether or not he choked the cat, but not you, listen to me. If they're doing it to an object, to an animal, to anything, they will absolutely do it to you. When I tell you violent behavior of any kind, I mean any kind is a red flag. If that person rages out of control with you, this was my story, rages out of control with you, but somehow, miraculously, magically, maintains their composure around other people, people at church, their family members, all that. But they are raging crazy fools with you. But in front of everybody else, like my story is this. Raging crazy fool. I was every kind of bitch. I was everything else. In the car on the way to church. In the car on the way to church. Okay? When we got to church, arm around my shoulder. You need anything, baby? You good? You need, all right, I love you, all that hand holding, all that. Jesus, talk spiritual abuse. That's spiritual abuse too, right there. All right. So if they can somehow miraculously maintain their composure around other people, but the minute y'all by yourselves, after you this, that, and the other, acting like they're gonna hit you, all that stuff, we got some red flags up in here. Do not question it. What I say red flag means? Full stop. Stop. Do not proceed. Do not. All right. Financial problems they refuse to talk about. I told you about that money thing. Boy, did I uncover some mess after I was married. Once you all to themselves tries to make you or even forces you or creates an environment of fear so that you cannot spend time with the people who love you. Oh my God. Been there, done that. Can I tell y'all one that most people don't pay attention to? Check this out. Addictions. Let me clarify. Let me clarify. And I don't just mean alcohol. I don't just mean drugs. I mean addictions, even down to pornography. Listen to what I'm telling you. I ain't making this up. Even down to pornography, gambling, addictions are a big, big red flag. Let me tell you, when you want to talk about something being out of balance, something extreme like an addiction, red freaking flag. Do not proceed. Okay, let me give you some examples from my own life. I might be on here till 8:15, y'all. So stay with me. Do not leave. Give me 15 more minutes. I gotta cover this stuff, okay? Red flags. What do they sound like? What do they sound like? What do they look like? Let me tell you through my story. Because if I don't tell you, you don't get the truth. and you miss it when it happens to you. So let me give it to you like it really TI is. I heard things like this. When I tell you actual words transcribed, used in court. So what? Because we had an argument and I did that. This is exactly what happened and what was said to me. So what? Because we had an argument and I did that to you, you're going to make that big? I didn't hit you. I didn't touch you. I just ifed at you. I did say violent behavior of any kind, right? Mhm. Doesn't matter that you didn't actually hit me. What you let me know, though, is that you would and you could. Violent behavior of any kind. I'm not playing with y'all tonight. I'm not playing with y'all at all. Violent behavior is a red flag. But look at how he spun it. I didn't hit you. I didn't touch you. I just ifed at you, whatever the hell an if means. But that's what he said. That's what he said. Here we go again. And I'm telling y'all, real words transcribed, given to the court. I can talk to you how I want to. I can curse. I can curse. I curse. I can say she's acting stupid. Go ahead. Claim abuse. Claim abuse. Everything ain't abuse, fool. I didn't call you no names. I said fool and stupid. I can say that. I'm gonna let y'all comment on. I mean, you tell me. You tell me. Oh, right. All of those things are actually very healthy. No, you're right. You can call me fool and stupid. Who am I to claim abuse? Oh, what is wrong with me? Ah, I got it all wrong. You're okay. You're okay. And you think somebody's dumb here. But this is what it sounds like. I am telling y'all because if you don't hear it, this is the stuff that's happening behind, closed doors and behind these four walls that nobody's talking about. What's the name of this podcast? It is Silent No More. And it's silent no more for a reason because it's that silence, that darkness, that secrecy that keeps this mess going on in so many households and with so many families and so many kids. I can't let it happen, y'all. My dog is going out. All right. I can't believe he just did that, but I had to let him out. Okay. All right. So how do we get here, y'all? I hope I'm giving it to y'all the way it needs to be given. I'm trying real hard. I worked a lot to prepare for this one. Let me say this to y'all. There are so many reasons why it's hard to keep or stop abusive relationships, y'all. There's a lot of reasons. I can't fix them all. If I try to tell them all, I run out of time. I can't tell them all. Once an abusive relationship is in motion, it is so hard to stop abuse. I can't cover all the reasons why people get into abusive relationships, but there is just this one aspect, and I'm going to get a little bit academic with y'all just for a second, okay? But I'm in a teaching mood. I've been in the teaching mood all month. All month I've been in the teaching mood. And I just got to do this. So I'm going to teach y'all one aspect of psychology that I want to share. It is called cognitive dissonance. Anybody heard the word? I'm going to type it into cognitive, D-I-S-S-O. Cognitive dissonance. If I spelled it wrong, y'all get the point. All right. Don't talk bad about me. I'm typing fast. Cognitive dissonance. Let me explain. Cognitive dissonance is a theory that was developed by a social psychologist. His name is Leon Festinger. And it came about in like the 1950s. So it's an old theory, right? It's been around for long enough. And the theory essentially explains how people respond when their attitudes and beliefs don't match up their behaviors. Are you with me? So cognitive dissonance it's an explanation for why when your attitudes and your beliefs don't match up with your behaviors. It's like they don't match, and for you that's hard. And so you respond a certain way. So let me explain. We're humans, and we are driven actually to have harmony. Listen to me. As humans, we're driven to have harmony but between our attitudes and our beliefs and our behaviors, our actions. And to avoid this dissonance, meaning the contradiction, right? We don't like the contradiction. People hate. People hate in you the most what they oh yes. Let me put that up in there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Cassandra, you better go on and tell it now. People hate in you the most what they are hiding in themselves. They ain't got it. They hate to see it in you because they have issues in themselves. I so agree. All right, let me get back to cognitive dissonance. So we as humans are driven to have harmony between our attitudes and beliefs and how we behave. That's what we want to see, right? And so that we can avoid having a contradiction between those two, we want to avoid having this dissonance. That's what dissonance means essentially is contradiction. We don't like the contradiction, so we try to fix it. So cognitive dissonance theory, it provides an explanation, one explanation, let me just say that, one explanation for why women or men stay in abusive relationships with their partners and then begin to adopt or adapt their beliefs and behaviors, right, of these abusive partners. So this theory essentially says that there's so that there's no more contradiction, so that you don't feel the contradiction between your behavior and your attitudes and beliefs, kind of fix the way you think. You change the way you think, you don't have the contradiction. So here we go. Here's the key. Victims get in these relationships, they thought this person was one way, but they're actually another. And what's happening is to manage these clashing cognitions, what the victim does, this is so crazy, it's so psychological, it's amazing. What the victim does is consciously and unconsciously, they adopt the perceptions of their abuser to reframe their partner's aggression. They reframe it. Well, they must have done that because of this. Right? That's the only way to make. I know that abuse is wrong, and I know this person's treating me wrong, but yet I love them, but they're treating me wrong. So you know what? I gotta change the way I think about what they're doing. That's what victims do. They literally reframe their perspective on their partner's aggression to somehow be able to digest it and accept it. It is so crazy. When I read this, I was like, I heard of this before. But when I sit down and process it from the abuse side, it's how some people are justifying how they remain in the relationship. Well, but he loves me and I love him. And to make this work, you almost force yourself to believe things that aren't really true. So no more cognitive dissonance, y'all. No more, well, no marriage is perfect, right? I mean, no marriage is smooth all the way, right? Um, let's see. I did this. I was always thinking back to for me to accept or deal with what was going on, I would always think back to, well, maybe there is something really wrong because I, the person I met and the person I've known all this time is not like that. So he's got to be in there somewhere. He's got to be in there somewhere. And that's what victims do. We look for the person we thought we had. That is the sad part of this. These dudes know exactly what they're doing. I'm going to give her the world and then take it from her. So she's always chasing to get the world back. Y'all hear me? That's what they do. They give us the world in the beginning. They make it amazing. The sex is amazing. The gifts are amazing. The movies and the treats and the flowers and the candles and the hot baths, they're all amazing. They give you the world. They get you used to it. They get you trusting and loving and loyal and believing in their love. And then they take it all back so that you're always looking for it and chasing a carrot you will never get again. It is disgusting. I can't stand it, but it's what it is. And if I don't tell you, you won't know. If I don't tell you, you will miss it. And you will end up where I never want you to be. And in a relationship like I was in, abusive, especially to a husband, God, that was horrible to be married to that. Thank God I'm out. That's all I'm going to say. Thank God I'm out. All right, let me get back to it. Okay, so here we go. All right, let me keep going because I got to do this with y'all. Y'all ready? I have explained all I can explain. I'm picking up my flags now about healthy, about unhealthy, and about abusive. I've explained all I can explain. So here we go. Here's the interactive part. Y'all ready? We're going to close the night out on this. Here's the interactive part. I want you to tell me, are y'all still here with me? I know I went over a little bit. Stick with me. I want you to tell me, is it healthy? Is it unhealthy? Or is it abusive? I'm going to give you a scenario. I need you to respond. Okay? Tell me what you think it is. Maybe even explain why if you can quickly in the system, whatever, in the comments. You ready? Healthy, unhealthy, abusive. Your partner calls you a pronoun or a nickname that you don't like, but they stop using it once you ask them to. Did you hear me? Your partner calls you a pronoun or nickname that you don't like. You don't like it, but they stop using that pronoun or nickname once you ask them to. Which one? You guys tell me, you ladies tell me what it is. Which one is it? What do you think that is? When someone calls you a nickname or pronoun, and then you say, I don't like that, and I don't want you to call me that again. Do you think that's yellow, red, or green? Oh, she said her internet is failing me. Oh, okay. All right, that's okay, Cassandra. All right. I've heard many answers to this one. Let me see what I got here. Ooh, Cassandra says it's abusive. Now, that's an interesting response. Interesting. I've never heard that one because it says your part. Well, I think you're focusing on the part that says your partner calls your pronoun a nickname you don't like. The rest of it is, but they stop using that pronoun once you ask them to. They stop using it once you ask them to. What do you think? Still abusive? What do you think? She says abusive. Now, I've heard unhealthy. I've heard unhealthy because they actually stopped once you expressed that you have a boundary, meaning you set the boundary and you said, I don't like that. And they said, oh, my bad. I won't say it again. And they literally stopped. So I've heard that. I've also heard healthy by the mere fact that they stopped doing something you expressed that you didn't like. That is a healthy behavior in a relationship. So there's differing opinions on this. Let's. I like it. I like it. I like that you guys do. Um, so Cassandra says, hey, she's sticking to her first answer. It's verbally abusive. They shouldn't be calling you a pronoun or that nickname in the first place. Why they even choose to do that? They should have never done it in the first place, is what Cassandra's point is. And you know what? I ain't mad at that. I get it. Where do you get that from? Why you start calling me that in the first place? Right? I don't want you to call me that. Don't call me that. So interesting. All right, y'all ready? Number two. During an argument, you make a move toward the door, but your partner blocks the doorway and won't let you leave. Oh, she said yellow now to that one. Okay, all right. You switched it a little bit. Okay. All right. She said I didn't hear that last part. All right. So Cassandra's saying for number one, it was yellow because at the end they stopped using it once they asked to. Now number two, during an argument, you make a move toward the door, but your partner blocks the doorway and won't let you leave. Your partner blocks the doorway and won't let you leave. What do you guys think? Yellow, red, green. You move toward the door to leave, and your partner blocks it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me help you all out if you didn't know. That was my situation. Blocked the door. I was not allowed to get out the room to go to work. I had to take my daughter to daycare and then proceed to work. Blocked the door. I was so late that day. I think I got to work at 9:20. Okay? Big argument. That is abusive. 100% abusive. When someone won't let you have your free will to leave a room and blocks the door, they are controlling everything about that moment. And when it was in my situation, I stepped back and I was like, oh shoot, like I didn't know what was about to jump off. I didn't know what was about to happen. So I stepped back. I had my book bag on my back. I had a bag of food in my arm and my purse in the other arm. And that was the day. Remember the earlier situation I told you about when you put his hand back and like that? It said, but I didn't touch you. I ifed at you. The beginning of that was him blocking me from getting out of it. Are you listening? So all day, I'm going with abusive because that's exactly what happened to me. All right. So Norma said yellow. I'm saying, oh, look at that. Here we go. Here's a comment. That's kidnapping. You won't let me out? We got a problem, bro. It's a problem. Let me keep going. Your partner says you should give them all of your social media passwords. Ooh, what do you think about that one? Your partner says they want all of your social media passwords. I mean, goodness, I don't even want to guess all the stuff that y'all are on. Facebook, IG, Twitter, YouTube. What's the rest of these things? TikTok. I don't even know. TikTok is so funny to me. Some of that stuff I never watched it before. Now I do. Your partner says, "I want all of your social media passwords, all of them." What's that? What y'all think that is? Hmm? It certainly to me ain't green. We gonna talk. That ain't healthy. Ain't healthy at all. Not from my perspective. I'm gonna tell you, the devil. What do y'all think it is? When someone says, "I want all your passwords to your social media accounts," Cassandra says abusive. Cassandra says that's a red flag. And I will beg to say that or venture to say that I know exactly why she's saying it. Because A, why the heck you need my passwords? Because for you to say that you need all my passwords, first of all, we don't have an agreement here. I don't need yours and you don't need mine. You ain't getting my bank account passwords. You don't need it. Why do you need it? So instead of you telling me you need my passwords, you tell me why you need it. Because if it comes down to you acting like you don't trust me or that I'm cheating or whatever else you're trying to say, then you're inherently trying to put something on me and put me on a defense and make me out to be a liar or a bad person. When in fact, this ain't got nothing to do with me. It's all you. What's going on in your social media account? Is it something going on in your social media account that I should be worried about? But you trying to put your mess on me? You projecting your crap on me? Nah, you will never get my social media nothing. Hey, good to see you. Oh, I hope you saw some of this, Debbie. It's been so good. It's been so good. It's been so good. All right. I'm with Cassandra. I'm with Cassandra. She said, ain't nothing but control. Let me tell y'all something. I recognize that there are some people that will be like, well, we love each other and I ain't got nothing to hide. Or the minute you come to me and tell me, give me your social media passwords. Wait a minute. Hold on. First of all, I'm not two. Let's back up. I'm not two. Okay. You're not my daddy. So you need to back it on up. Or they say bag it up. You need to bag it up. Bag it on up. Because we're not doing this. We're not doing this. So that's control. Oh, thank you. All right, all right, awesome. Let me keep going. I'm gonna do a few more. Uh, your partner often compares you to their ex. Ooh, what's this one? Hold on. I need an option to decide what I want to give you access to if I want to give you access to it. Thank you. I need an option. You don't come to me telling me what I need to give you or what I'm better give you or what I'm going to give you. First of all, that's when you tell somebody off. You got to say first of all. First of all, I learned that a long time ago. All right, next one. Your partner often compares you to their ex. I'm waiting for this one. Your partner often compares you to their ex lover. What's that? Green, yellow, red. What is it? What is it? What is it? What do y'all think? What does it mean when your partner, what kind of behavior, healthy, unhealthy, abusive? I know y'all got to think about it, so I'm giving you time, so that's why I'm repeating myself. Is it unhealthy, healthy, or abusive when your partner often, is the words on this paper, compares you to their ex? Give it to me, y'all. Mm. Yes, it would be thank you for clarifying. I'm actually going to write that down next time. It is an unfavorable comparison. Well, so and so didn't never do that like that. Well, when I was with so and so, he or she would never have done that. It's that. So thank you for saying that because I will clarify that next go round. Unhealthy. All right. So Debbie is going with unhealthy, yellow flag, and I agree. Now, I don't know what everybody's going to say. It could be red. For some people, that's red. Anytime you're behind is comparing me to something that you already moved on from. That's your problem. Tell you what, you can go back and have them. We can end this now. Deuces. We can peace out right now. So I think I've got a general agreement that on this one, Norma says unhealthy, Cassandra says unhealthy. So we're going to go with this one being a yellow flag. But I will tell you that, Cassandra, thank you, because I will say unfavorably compares you to their ex. That's what I will make sure I update that. You're awesome. You're awesome. All right. So your partner often shows up. This is one interesting. Your partner often shows up at your job with food that you like but didn't request. Process that one. Your partner often shows up at your job with food that you like but didn't request. Mm. What y'all think about that one? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Your partner often shows up at your job with food that you like but did not request. This is a tough one, and I want y'all to think about it. I toggle between these two on that one. I toggle between these two. Ooh, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's good. Cassandra says healthy. Cassandra says healthy. This one confuses me still. I have different opinions at different moments, and I think it would have to be in context. Because Cassandra says it's oh, wait a minute. She said unhealthy. Wait. Let me get this right because that was an old one. This one, she says healthy. Okay. So she thinks if someone shows up to your job, often shows up to your job with food that you didn't request, but that it's your favorite food, they're saying she thinks it's healthy because I imagine she's thinking it's thoughtful, right? It's something that's thoughtful. Like, wow, he knows what I like, he knows I'm busy, and he made a way to get this food to me. And she says, but in my paranoid mind, he could be attempting to monitor me, right? That's the problem with these things. It's always processing, right? So it's like seems healthy, but in my paranoid mind, I don't know. But he's being, and to her point, he's being considerate and thoughtful. This is one of those ones that I think you have to put in context. It has to be in context, right? It's like how often is this and how awkward? And when he arrives, is it like, oh my God, you gotta put it in context. You almost have to be in it, right? It's very weird. I'm gonna do one more because it's late, y'all. Okay. All right. What happened today? What happened today? I'm Norma, tell me what that means. You asking me? Or was that meant to be something else? Tell me what your question is, and I'll come back and I'll make sure I answer it. Okay. All right. So last one. Your partner takes, listen, it's in here because it happened to me. Your partner takes your debit or credit cards and makes purchases without your knowledge or consent. Your partner takes your debit and credit cards and makes purchases without your knowledge or consent. That's going to be my last one, and I'll go into my closing, okay? So, what do y'all think? When your partner's taking your debit cards and making purchases without your knowledge or consent, well, daggone it, can't possibly be healthy. We know that much. So let's start with that. We know it ain't healthy. So it's one of these two. It is either unhealthy or it's abusive. If someone is taking your credit cards and making purchases, let's pretend for 1 second that it wasn't a person you were dating. Let me ask you that. If it wasn't somebody you were dating, just someone did that, what is that? Okay, because so Cassandra says in a relationship, that's unhealthy. Right? If someone takes your debit cards, credit cards, whatever, and they make purchases without your consent or even letting you know or approval, Debbie says red flag, financial abuse. I'm going with the red flag. I'm going with the red flag. That is absolutely financial abuse. No one should take your money ever without your consent. So let me roll through a couple of closing statements because y'all stayed on long. I'm so grateful for y'all. My God, this has been a great one. Here we go. What to watch out for. These are those yellows and red flags we have got to watch out for. I'm going to roll down a list because it's a long list. Person is manipulative, plays games, is insincere. The person does not feel guilt or remorse. They are very envious and jealous. I'm rolling down a list. They are superficial and overly concerned with image. Hey, Evelyn. They are overly concerned with image. They regularly create intense arguments. At the beginning, I asked y'all to tell yourselves the truth. Please, as I roll down this list, if it sounds anything like what you are going through, please tell yourself the truth. Okay. All right. Here we go. Evelyn says yes. All right. I'm going to keep going. Regularly creates intense arguments. Regularly creates. This person is actually manufacturing these arguments. Makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells. We talked about that earlier. lacks empathy or compassion, never apologizes, or only apologizes to reel you back in. Are y'all staying with me? They insist that you are responsible for and need to resolve every issue and problem that arises. Listen to me. I have been here. Evelyn knows what I'm talking about. Oh, yes, they make you feel like you're the one to blame. They go back and forth between being nice and being distant or being mean, meaning the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. Listen, watch out for this, y'all. They display sneaky or insidious behaviors. They are projecting their character flaws onto you. You're cheating, you're lying, you're this, you're that. That is bad, y'all. Oh my God, that was so my situation. I'm gonna tell everybody that when you're traveling for work, you out there sleeping around with men while you out there in these hotels. Now, who was cheating? Okay, all right. Has an addiction to sex, to pornography, to gambling, to any of that, any addiction. This person sees themselves as never wrong. I am telling y'all like it is. Do not sugarcoat. You have to listen. Listen. I'm telling you right now, y'all. That's lighting the fire and watching you burn. Woo! My God. Yes, indeed. It's never wrong. And often, this one I'm gonna close out with. Y'all ready? This one is what I realized as I was leaving my relationship and getting out of my situation when I reflected on it. When the person often tells you everything that you're not before praising you for everything that you are. That one right there. That one right there. When they are more often telling you everything that you're not before they will praise you for everything beautiful there is about you that you are. Stay away from those people. All right, y'all. We're at the end. I'm gonna close out. I already told y'all, pay attention. Please pay attention. If you find yourself making excuses for their behavior, you are already one step toward abuse. Don't do it. If you find that you are not telling the people that are closest to you, the people who truly love you, the people who you truly love, if you are not telling them the truth about what's really going on in your relationship, trust me, it's either already unhealthy or you're already in the stage of abuse. Let me be the one to tell you. So I will close out by saying, hey, Sophie, I will close out by saying this. I've said it before. The one thing abusers cannot stand is time because it's all a facade and only time will reveal it. And if you make them wait, if you slow them down, you will find out what you need to know because they can only hide their mess for so long. Yellow flags are a real thing. Watch out for them. They lead to red flags, which is abusive behaviors. I don't want you in that. I never wanted to be in it, but it's because I was in it that I now have this testimony to share with you to help ensure you stay safe and that you never find yourself in it. Trust me, you don't want to be there. For any of you guys on here, ladies on here who are survivors, you know what I'm talking about. To extract yourself from that mess, to find your way out of that, one of the hardest things you will ever do in life. And you know what the truth is? Some ladies, some men never make it out. So I love you and I want you to be safe. I want you to be the best version of you in everything you can. Please, in every way you can, you stay away from these people that exhibit these yellow flags and so that you never have to experience the red flags. All right, y'all. It is 8:29. Y'all stayed on. I swear, y'all some of the best. Oh my God, y'all like some of the best people coming on here and attending this podcast weekly. I love it. Evelyn, Cassandra, Sophie, Norma, Kendra was on here. It's just been phenomenal. Thank y'all so much. If I miss somebody, forgive me. But y'all were the ones making comments the most. I'm going back up. So Kendra, Norma, Cassandra, all these other names. That's so funny. And then in the end, I saw who else came in here that I'm missing? Oh my gosh. I don't want to miss anybody. Debbie came in here. Debbie Mixon came in here. And then we closed out with folks coming at the end. Evelyn, I appreciate y'all so much. Sophie, thank you. Sad but true. Yes, sad but true. But I'm telling y'all, it's only the truth. I'm only telling you what I know because I lived it. And not only because I lived it, because I researched it, I've been trained in it, and I talked to many victims and survivors. So I want you to have a good night. It's Sunday. Get ready for work. Get ready for whatever you got going on tomorrow. It's been beautiful to be with you. I will see y'all again next week. I will decide if I'm still in the teaching mode or I'm bringing back a guest. I think it's time for a guest, but listen, I go with what I feel like I need to do. And I felt like I needed to teach this. So I will see y'all next week. Y'all see a flyer. I don't know what the topic is just yet, but we'll find out. God bless you. Good night. I miss you. Y'all are the best. Have a good night. Mwah. See y'all. See y'all next Sunday.